Hello and welcome, my dear friend. Destiny does an amazing job of bringing only those who resonate with this message here. This is a profound one, so stay with me till the end. You know, the stage you're in right now feels like you've been reborn over and over again, doesn't it? Let me ask you this. Do you ever wonder what it's like to go through this constant evolution, almost like a phoenix rising from its own ashes? It's not easy, is it? Think of the process of birth, how a baby is pushed out of the womb, this warm, safe place where it was nurtured, into the unknown world. It's a jarring, intense, and sometimes painful experience for both the mother and the child. But there is no denying the beauty of that transformation, the power in taking that first breath, even when the air feels unfamiliar. That's exactly what you're experiencing right now, isn't it? It's as though you're in the midst of your own birth, being pushed from one space of comfort and safety into a world that feels new, uncertain, and maybe even overwhelming at times. But that first breath is coming, my dear friend, and with it comes clarity, purpose, and power. It's just a matter of embracing the process and knowing that all of this is leading you home again. I feel a deep call to remind you to slow down, to take time for stillness, because you're going through something truly profound. Right now, you're in the midst of a spiritual integration, a kind of deepening that goes beyond the surface. It's almost like your DNA is being upgraded, like your very being is being recalibrated. You're not the same person you were yesterday, and tomorrow you won't be the same as you are today. The old beliefs, fears, and doubts, those are all being dismantled right now. But here's the thing. You're here for a reason. You have big dreams, and I can see that. I'm not talking about small ambitions. No. You are someone with massive, bold dreams that others might consider impossible. You're someone who is destined to shine, who has that star-like quality, that magnetism that draws people in without even trying. And that sets you apart. If you're feeling like you're in the midst of a storm right now and everything around you feels chaotic, remember, you have the ability to navigate this. You've been through storms before and you've come out stronger every single time. It's important for you to stay grounded, to remember that the calm within the storm is a reflection of your inner strength. But right now, you're being called to do something important. Cleanse your energy. In the midst of all the change, of all the new things you're stepping into, it's crucial to take time to clear out the old energy. That includes your physical space, your mind, and your body. Are there things you've been indulging in that no longer serve you? This is the time to let go of them, to create space for the new. You're building a new foundation, one that is strong and solid, not based on survival, but on creation. The foundation you're building now isn't like the one you built in the past. The old you, the version of yourself that came from a place of trauma, of survival, those old beliefs and patterns are no longer needed. You've learned what you needed to learn from those experiences, and it's time to let them go. It's time to stop living in that energy of scarcity, constantly being on alert, predicting danger around every corner. You might not realize it, but that old version of you built your identity around fear. It was a protective mechanism, one that served you in the past, but it no longer aligns with who you are becoming. And that's one of the reasons something feels off from time to time. Because you're not that person anymore, and that way of living won't fit this new version of you. Because right now, you're being asked to start fresh, to create a new foundation from a place of abundance and strength. And here's the thing, I know it's hard. It's hard to let go of the past, to release old beliefs and patterns, especially when they've been a part of you for so long. Maybe you've released some of them or have been struggling to let certain things go because of the emotional attachments, but you know, deep down, you have the power to do it. The what-ifs that bubble up in your mind are just your old self trying to hang on, trying to keep you from stepping fully into this new version of yourself. Let me offer you some practical steps to guide you along this path. The first one is simple. Start small. Cleanse your energy. Cleanse your physical space. Take a moment to look around. Does your environment feel cluttered? Does it feel stagnant or heavy? Start by clearing out anything that no longer serves you. These could be physical items, things you no longer use. Clear it all away. Make room for the new energy that's coming into your life. Next, cleanse your body. Are there things you've been indulging in that aren't in alignment with the version of yourself you're becoming? Maybe it's time to let those things go, to nourish your body with what it truly needs. Give yourself the gift of health, vitality, and energy. But most importantly, cleanse your mind. This is the hardest part, isn't it? The thoughts that have been swirling around, the doubts, the fears, the judgments, those need to be cleared away. I encourage you to take a moment each day to connect with your thoughts, examine them, and release the ones that no longer serve you. You are in the process of rebuilding, and the energy you're cultivating right now is so powerful. You're not just preparing for the future, you're stepping into it right now. So take a deep breath, my dear friend, and know that you're on the right path. It takes guts to do what you've done in life, and you should be proud of yourself. And please, be kind to yourself if you couldn't let go of certain things immediately. Give yourself time. This is not a race. Only one soul is on this road, and that is you. Now, let's talk about the most important part of this process, the rebuilding of you. As you know, life is filled with different chapters and stages. It's easy to think why life feels heavy sometimes, even when you had moments of total relief and ease. You may wonder, why can't I remain in that stage? Sometimes it feels like you're doing something wrong. But my dear, these are games of the mind. None of us can remain in the same stage forever. But your mind doesn't want you to keep changing, because it's wired for stability and safety, even when that stability no longer soothes you. Growth works this way, especially for you, because you aren't here for an ordinary path. The best thing to do is ignore those thoughts and continue to change and evolve despite the fear and doubts. As you do, you begin to feel energies coming toward you to help and carry you forward. But the initial step is yours to take. So let's talk for a second. What do you want this version of yourself to look like? What do you want your new foundation to be made of? This isn't a time for half measures or trying to hold on to bits and pieces of your past self. You are being called to completely dismantle the old and build from a place of radical self-awareness. How would your life look if you gave yourself permission to be completely, unapologetically you? And this is not about grand gestures or massive decisions. It's simply about aligning more with what you feel inside. Be true to yourself. This is about knowing your worth isn't tied to anything else rather than your existence itself. But the path can feel scary from time to time. It's one thing to talk about stepping into your power and transforming your life, but it's another thing entirely to take action. It's easy to get caught up in fear, thinking, what if I make a mistake? Or, what if I'm not ready? But I'm here to tell you that you are ready. The universe has never once left you unprepared for a single moment of your life. Every lesson, every hardship, every triumph has been carefully designed to guide you to this point. You don't have to have it all figured out right now. That's not the point. The point is to trust. Trust that you're exactly where you need to be and that everything you need will come to you in perfect timing. So, my dear friend, take this message to heart. Trust your magnificent self. Embrace the new foundation you're building. And most of all, know that everything you desire is within your reach. You just need to believe that you're worthy of it. You already are. You've always been. And now is the time to feel it in your bones. Thank you so much for taking this journey with me. If you found value in this message, please like the video and share it with others who might benefit. Don't forget to subscribe and continue your amazing journey by watching one of the videos showing on your screen that resonates with you the most. See you there. Hello and welcome, my dear friend. Some lives don't follow the straight road. The blessings are huge, but the pain hasn't been small either. These lives start with detours. They rise with resistance, and they carry questions that don't always have answers at the time they're asked. If your life has felt like that, if you've ever looked around and quietly wondered, why was this my path? You're not confused. You're remembering. Because what if I told you this wasn't random? And now, finally, what's been building behind the scenes is starting to move. Not just the understanding, but the blessing, the shift, the openings you almost stopped praying for. But before any of it could arrive, something had to break open first. The people you couldn't hold on to, the places you were never meant to settle in, the parts of yourself you had to lose just to find your center again. This life, your life, wasn't just given to you. You agreed to it. Not because you wanted pain, not because you deserved difficulty, but because something in your soul recognized the shape of what it would become. You chose this assignment with God. Before breath ever filled your lungs, before the world got noisy, before anyone ever doubted you, labeled you, or misunderstood you. And you didn't choose it to prove anything. You chose it to remember everything. Because somewhere in eternity, your soul said yes to the kind of path that would require more awareness, more sensitivity, more spiritual muscle than most people could carry. You didn't ask for ease, because a life like this, a chosen life, doesn't come with ease. You asked for truth. And truth has a strange way of tearing through illusion before it feels like comfort. Let me give you a picture. Imagine being handed a sealed letter before birth. On the outside it says, "Open only when you're ready." You're born, you grow, and you start living life like everyone else. But something always feels slightly off, like you're acting in a play where everyone else knows their lines, but yours haven't been given to you yet. And then something happens. Maybe a loss, maybe an awakening, maybe the moment you finally get tired of pretending to be okay, and you feel it, that pull towards something deeper, that quiet inner knowing that this can't be it. That's when the letter begins to open, and what's written inside isn't a list of rewards or simple instructions. It's a reminder, you chose this, and now you're remembering why. The reason your joy sometimes has a quiet edge to it. The reason you've always felt things more deeply than others. The reason even small betrayals cut you with surgical precision. It's because you were never wired for surface-level living. Your life was designed to reach beneath it all, to go places most people never look, because your agreement wasn't about status, it was about depth. You didn't come here to blend in. You came here to break patterns, to shift timelines, to heal things your family never had words for, to end cycles that wore your bloodline thin. And yes, sometimes that has looked like being misunderstood, like being the sensitive one, the difficult one, the overthinker. But sensitivity is only a weakness in a world that fears awareness. And you, my friend, are aware on a level that can't be taught. That's why certain environments that felt normal for others always felt too small for you. Why certain relationships never lasted, even when you tried to shrink yourself to keep them. Because this life was never about fitting. It was about freeing what was always buried inside of you. And as long as you compare your unique, God-given life to someone else's normal, you'll always end up disappointed, because that ruler was never made to measure a divinely designed life. You know, you weren't late, you weren't behind, you weren't broken. You were being aligned with something ancient inside of you, something that couldn't wake up until the right moment. And now, it's waking up. That's why the patterns are crumbling. That's why the desires you used to chase no longer tempt you. That's why your soul is asking for different things now. Because your contract isn't just about survival anymore, it's about embodiment. This is the season where what you've always carried quietly starts to take shape visibly. So, if your life has felt strange, if your timing has always been off by the world's standards, if your milestones have arrived in whispers instead of applause, take this in deeply. You didn't come here to follow the map. You came here to become the compass. And the reason your life looks different is because it was never meant to be a copy. It was meant to be an original story, one others would one day be inspired by. The truth is, you could have asked for something else, a different kind of life, a quieter journey. You could have signed up for a story with less loss, fewer delays, and more immediate reward. But that wouldn't have unlocked what's in you now, because you weren't just shaped by what happened, you were shaped by how deeply you paid attention to it. There's something different about someone who notices everything. The way the light shifts in a room, the tone behind someone's silence. The moment the energy changes, even when no words are spoken. That awareness? That's not random. That's part of the agreement. God didn't choose you because you were already strong. He chose you because you were willing to become strong without pretending. He chose you because you said yes to learning how to see through things most people ignore. And for a long time, that may have made you feel like you were always just a little out of step with the world around you. You didn't react the same. You didn't chase what others chased. Even your pain felt different, deeper, heavier, like it was attached to something larger than just the moment. That's because it was. This wasn't about one situation or one season. This was about shaping a soul that could hold what others couldn't. You may have asked at some point, why did they leave? Why did that fall apart? Why couldn't I stay where I felt safe? And while those moments hurt, they were never rejections. They were redirects. God wasn't punishing you. He was clearing space, not because you weren't ready for connection, but because the people meant to walk with you needed to be able to recognize you as you really are, not the version you would have had to shrink into just to keep them. You weren't being removed from love. You were being returned to real alignment. And here's the part most people never get to hear. This wasn't just a spiritual experiment. It was a sacred setup. All of it. The loneliness, the confusion, the hunger for something you couldn't name. It was preparation for a life you wouldn't just live, but lead. Because you're not here just to get through things. You're here to shift things. In your family, in your space, in the unseen spiritual atmosphere around you. That's why it's never been easy to explain what you're going through. Because your process isn't meant to be understood by everyone. It's meant to be felt by those who are being awakened by watching you. You may not preach, you may not speak loudly, but your life, it teaches. And that too is part of the agreement. So what now? Now is the season where what you know inside finally begins to show up around you. The outer world starts catching up to the inner work, and things that used to confuse you start making quiet sense. The pace you were forced to walk, the solitude you didn't choose, the discomfort of not knowing what was next, none of it was wasted. It built capacity, it built clarity, and it built a deeper trust in the God who never left, even when everything else did. You agreed to this before birth, not because you wanted to suffer, but because you wanted to see clearly. And now, you're starting to see. The timing you once questioned is beginning to align. The relationships you thought you lost are being replaced with ones that match your spirit. The dreams you almost let go of are resurfacing with new weight, because now you're ready to carry them. And more than anything, you're starting to recognize yourself again. Not the version you had to become to survive, but the one that was always underneath all of it. The one that said yes long before the noise began. This isn't the end of your story. This is the part where everything starts to catch up to what's always been written. Because the moment you begin to walk with the awareness that you agreed to this, you stop fighting every detour, you stop asking to be saved from the path, and start asking to walk it with your eyes open. That's when peace shows up differently. That's when alignment replaces striving. That's when God doesn't feel far, He feels familiar. Because you've met Him before, and you're meeting Him again. So when you look at your life today, with all its sharp edges and slow climbs, don't rush to erase the parts that didn't make sense in real time. Sit with them. You'll find that they were holding shape for something your spirit was always meant to remember. And now that you've remembered, you're ready to live what you already agreed to, fully, clearly, and on purpose. This is the life your soul said yes to, and this is the season where you begin to own that yes. Thank you so much for taking this journey with me. If you found value in this message, please like the video and share it with others who might benefit. Don't forget to subscribe and continue your amazing journey by watching one of the videos showing on your screen that resonates with you the most. See you there. Hello and welcome, my dear friend. You know, reputation is a strange thing. It doesn't always reflect the truth. It reflects perception. And perception? That can be filtered through jealousy, projection, misunderstanding, or just someone's unwillingness to see you clearly. There are people who formed opinions about you based on who you were becoming, not who you actually were. And because you were still in the middle of becoming, you didn't argue. You let them say what they needed to say. You let them watch what they thought was your downfall. But it wasn't a downfall. It was an undercover rising. And now something has shifted in the unseen. Heaven has decided it's time for the truth to catch up with your name. There's a divine interruption happening, one that's going to correct the record without you lifting a finger. Not through performance, not through explanation, not through revenge, but through undeniable revelation. Because here's what they didn't realize. You were never meant to stay in the version of yourself they tried to trap you in. They were talking about someone you used to be. They underestimated what healing would do. They underestimated what God was doing behind the scenes, how He was building your character, layering your strength, sharpening your voice. You didn't rush to prove anything. That was the most powerful thing about you. As hard as it was, you let the silence do the heavy lifting. You let time expose what intention never could. And now comes the exposure. But not your exposure, theirs. The ones who tried to keep your name small because your presence made them uncomfortable. The ones who called your depth too much because they were committed to staying shallow. The ones who whispered about you, hoping the whispers would travel faster than your truth. God is about to make sure the truth outruns every one of those whispers. And it won't be loud. It'll be surgical. You'll walk into the same rooms they used to avoid you in, and this time, they won't be able to look away. You'll speak the same truths they used to laugh at, and this time, they'll feel them land. You'll stand in the same spirit you've always had, and this time, they'll recognize the weight it carries. Because here's what's happening. On one side, you exude a different kind of energy right now, and on the other, God is recalibrating the atmosphere around you. He's shifting the lens people use when they look at you, not to inflate your ego, but to restore accuracy. This isn't a glow-up. This is a divine rerouting of misperception. You weren't out here trying to impress anyone. You were busy healing, quietly, deeply. And because your healing didn't come with a social announcement, they assumed nothing changed. They assumed wrong. This isn't karma. This isn't revenge. This is God saying, enough. It's time they face the truth about who you really are. You never needed a microphone. You just needed alignment. And now that alignment is beginning to show. You'll notice it in the way people address you differently, in the way certain opportunities come with respect baked in the way those who once dismissed you now hesitate before speaking your name, because your energy now carries a weight that cannot be denied anymore. This is the outcome of keeping faith and trust, even in the hardest times. This is what happens when heaven puts your name in places where your defense isn't needed, because your presence becomes the proof. Not a loud, aggressive entrance, just clarity, truth, and presence. And for the first time, it will be impossible to mislabel you again. But here's what no one talks about. It's not just the rejection that hurts. It's the long season afterward, when nothing seems to move, when the silence is louder than the betrayal. You carry yourself with grace, but the questions grow heavier. Was I wrong? Did I imagine the call? Maybe they were right. And yet, something deep in you would never fully let go of the truth. Not because you were clinging to fantasy, but because you recognized something holy in your story that the world hadn't yet seen. Let's be honest. You've had to live for a while as the one who almost made it. The one with something unexplainable about them. Too spiritual for some, too grounded for others, too aware to stay blind, too kind to become bitter. You've had to master how to stand tall while being sized up, studied, and second-guessed by people who never saw beyond the surface. But that season is ending, because this is the moment where heaven is about to interrupt the narrative, not to inflate your ego, but to correct the record. Because when God assigns favor, He doesn't ask for permission, and when it's time to be seen clearly, nothing can hide what's been burning beneath the surface for years. Let this sink in. Your reputation is not being restored. It's being rewritten from the inside out. Because the world saw your silence as weakness. They saw your patience as passivity. They saw your humility as evidence you weren't ready. But none of it was weakness. It was strategy. And now, the timing has shifted. This is the season when your alignment starts speaking louder than the assumptions people made about you. This is the moment when the opportunities that used to pass you by start circling back. And this time, they stop. Because heaven has already stamped approved on something that used to be denied. You'll know it's happening, not because everyone suddenly becomes kind, but because the resistance will start to sound a lot more like reverence. The same ones who thought you were just another dreamer are about to realize you were always the blueprint. And it's not because you chased a platform, it's because you kept becoming when no one even noticed it. You became steady when the chaos came. You became generous when you barely had enough. You became wise when all you had was pain to study. And now that foundation is undeniable. The shift in your reputation isn't a marketing campaign. It's not manufactured. It's spiritual. It's the result of invisible roots growing deep while you looked like a late bloomer to everyone else. They thought you were behind, but you were being backed by heaven. And when God backs you, no human effort can block what's due. You see, reputation isn't just what people say. It's what your life echoes without words. And your life is about to start echoing something different. It will look like a new level of recognition. But more than that, it'll feel like peace in your body. You'll walk into situations that once triggered you and feel unmoved. You'll hear the opinions that used to define you and feel untouched. You'll sense the envy and projection and walk right past it. Why? Because your reputation is no longer something you're trying to manage. It's something God is managing for you. And you're about to see the fruit of that shift. For some of you, the opportunities that show up next won't even make sense based on what's on your resume. It will be favor, not formula. It will be God placing your name in rooms your effort never entered. Not because you campaigned for attention, but because your authenticity, your becoming, has reached critical mass. You stopped asking to be seen through the lens of past failure. You stopped explaining away your glow. You stopped translating your spirit for people committed to misunderstanding it. And now, things are catching up. The people who quietly watched your process are about to speak publicly. The ones who dismissed you will start shifting their tone, without apology, but with curiosity. Not because they had a change of heart, but because they can no longer deny what you carry. And listen carefully. You don't need revenge, because this is better. This is what it looks like when God clears the fog off your reflection. You're not being introduced, you're being revealed. And it's different, because anyone can make a splash by pretending, but only the chosen ones rise by alignment. Only the chosen ones get elevated without having to trade in their soul to get there. That's who you are. You didn't fight to be seen. You fought to stay true while unseen, and because of that, this shift isn't just public, it's permanent. So walk forward with no fear, because you don't need to convince anyone anymore. Your walk speaks, your presence speaks, and your story finally speaks clearly. Because they're not just seeing you now, they're seeing who you really are, and they won't be able to look away. Thank you so much for taking this journey with me. If this message resonated, please like, share it with someone who might benefit, and subscribe to stay connected. Continue your awakening journey by choosing one of the videos on your screen that resonates with you the most. See you there. Hello and welcome, my dear friend. There's a kind of homesickness that has no return address. A pull in your chest for something you've never touched, a place you've never visited, a version of life you've never seen with your eyes, but somehow you know it. And that knowing doesn't come from books or conversations. It comes from your bones, from something ancient in your spirit. You don't know how to explain it. You just know when you're not where you belong. This message is for you, the one who's been walking through your current season like a guest in someone else's house, the one who has tried, really tried, to make peace with where you are. But no matter how grateful you are, no matter how disciplined or faithful or focused you've been, you still feel like something is missing. You feel the mismatch in the details, like you were built for a different rhythm, different sky, different light. Different relationships, different roles, a different reason to wake up in the morning. You're not wrong or delusional. You're not ungrateful or broken. What you're feeling isn't confusion. It's the awareness that your soul has outgrown its current coordinates. And sometimes God doesn't explain that feeling, because He's not trying to soothe it, He's trying to activate it. This discomfort, this longing, this sense that you're out of alignment with your own life, it's a preparation signal. You're not just shifting emotionally. Your entire energetic blueprint is starting to reconfigure, because something in your next season, your next location, your next environment, your next identity has been marked for you. And it's getting closer. But before it can arrive, something sacred happens. God doesn't just relocate your body, He relocates your spirit first. And that's why you feel the tension right now. Because your body is still walking in the old chapter, but your soul is already standing in the next one. And that gap is what you've been calling homesickness. It's not a place on a map. It's a life that fits. A life where your voice isn't watered down to be acceptable, where your presence isn't misunderstood or tolerated or reduced to your usefulness. A life where peace isn't a struggle to maintain, it's built into the foundation. You're not meant to feel fully settled right now because you're not staying here. You're not meant to get too comfortable because God is already packing up the parts of you that won't be needed where you're going. This is a divine relocation, not just physically, but energetically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. And for some of you, it will literally involve being moved to a new city, a new home, a new community. But for others, the move won't be across geography. It'll be across identity. You'll wake up and realize the life you've been living is too small for who you've become. Not because it's bad, but because it's not yours anymore. It fit the old you, the one who needed to survive, the one who was still proving something, the one who hadn't yet remembered how to belong to themselves. But now, something in you is whispering, it's time. And that whisper won't stop. No matter how many routines you keep, no matter how many reminders you give yourself to be grateful, no matter how many times you say, this is enough, because your spirit is already traveling, it's already in motion, it's already walking towards something that will finally feel like home. Not because it's easy, but because it's aligned. You see, home isn't a place, it's a feeling, a frequency. And when you finally match it, you'll know. Until then, don't ignore the ache. Don't dismiss the whisper. Don't try to convince yourself to stay in a room your soul is already leaving. What you're feeling is not emptiness. It's the space being cleared, so something real can land. And it will land sooner than you think. But first, you had to stop mistaking familiarity for belonging. God isn't asking you to settle down. He's asking you to listen, to let the longing speak, to let the ache be holy. Because He's not trying to torture you with what you don't have. He's trying to point you toward what's about to arrive. There's a reason you've been losing your taste for things that once satisfied you. The food you used to crave now feels heavy. The conversations you used to tolerate now feel noisy. The places you used to go now feel like echoes of someone you don't want to be anymore. That's not you falling apart. That's your system updating. And when God gets ready to move you, He doesn't just open new doors. He lets the old ones get loud first. So loud, in fact, that you finally stop pretending you don't hear the creak in the floor, the peeling paint, the silence between people who were supposed to love you. And one day, you look around and realize, I've outstayed my season. Not because you failed, but because you've grown. That feeling you've been calling restlessness, that's how a soul prepares for departure. It starts with subtle shifts, a scent you no longer like, a morning that feels heavy for no reason, a conversation that used to flow now just floats on the surface. Eventually, even your dreams stop making sense in the current environment. It's like trying to play a new song on an outdated speaker. The frequency won't land. That's because your next season has already been calibrated. And God doesn't ask permission from your comfort zone to promote you. He interrupts it. And when He does, it's never random. It's precise, personal, designed for you. Because where you're going, it's not a version of your past, slightly improved. It's not a nicer neighborhood with the same identity. It's not just a cleaner space with the same silence. Where you're going will require a new version of you. Not because you need to fix yourself, but because the frequency of your future will not support what you've already outgrown. This is why people start falling away. This is why routines start failing you. This is why you feel the urge to purge your closet, clear your desk, unfollow people, rethink your entire day. You're not being dramatic, you're being redirected. And the thing is, you won't always have clarity while it's happening. You might cry over the losses, you might doubt the process, you might wonder if you've made a mistake walking away from what once held you. But please hear this. When God begins to relocate you, He'll often do it in phases. First, the inner shift, where your spirit stops agreeing with what your surroundings are saying. Then the external disruption. Things no longer work the way they used to. And finally, the divine opportunity. An opening so precise, so unexplainably right, it feels like the wind changed direction just to clear a path for you. And that's when you'll know. The homesickness was a map. The ache was a compass. The longing was a divine signal pointing to your next elevation. And for many of you, it's already on the horizon. You'll begin to meet people who speak your language without needing translation. You'll find spaces where you're not only welcomed, but wanted. You'll feel yourself breathing differently, standing taller, laughing more deeply, not from your throat, but from your soul. And the crazy part is, you won't need to force it, because divine relocation doesn't require striving. It requires surrender. It requires trusting the whisper more than the noise, trusting the discomfort more than the false peace of routine, trusting the new pull more than the old agreements. There is a place, an assignment, a chapter where you will not feel like a guest in your own story. And it's not far. But before you walk into it, God needed you to release what's been holding you down. Even the things that look stable, even the things that once felt safe, even the people you thought you couldn't leave behind. Because what's next isn't just about new blessings, it's about right placement. There is an ecosystem, spiritual, relational, emotional, that will sustain you. You won't have to beg for energy. You won't have to fake your joy. You won't have to carry all the weight alone. And when you get there, you'll look back and understand that this ache was never about escape. It was about arrival. Arrival into a life that mirrors your truth. Not just what the world sees, but what God whispered over you before you were even born. So don't panic when things start shaking. Don't resist the pull to clean out the parts of your life that feel stale. Don't apologize for needing more. More alignment, more clarity, more purpose. Because the place you're about to land, it will not just fit you, it will restore you. It will not just challenge you, it will expand you. It will not just welcome your gifts, it will honor them. And you will finally realize you were never lost, you were being led. So get ready, because the ache in your chest has done its job. And now, God is about to open a door that doesn't just invite you in, it recognizes you. And this time, when you enter, it will feel like coming home. Thank you so much for taking this journey with me. If you found value in this message, please like the video and share it with others who might benefit. Don't forget to subscribe and continue your amazing journey by watching one of the videos showing on your screen that resonates with you the most. See you there. Hello and welcome, my dear friend. Imagine trying to judge the strength of a tree by the height of its first branch. If you only look at the surface, you'll miss the roots. That's what they did with you. They tried to measure you by what was visible, by your current circumstances, by the volume of your words, by how much you seemed to matter to the crowd. But what they didn't see was what God was doing underneath. You weren't being overlooked, you were being anchored. And anchoring takes time. It's not loud, it's not fast, it doesn't show off. It doesn't make headlines, but it holds everything when the winds come. That's why he let them underestimate you. Because if they had seen the truth too early, they would have tried to claim it, twist it, use it, build their names around your roots. Before you even had your own branches, if they had honored you too soon, you might have settled there. You might have stayed in places meant to be temporary. Somewhere inside you, you know that's true. So God kept it quiet, on purpose. At some point in your life, you probably noticed this pattern. People treated you like a placeholder, friendly enough to keep around, but not important enough to really see. They didn't ask how you were holding so much together. They didn't ask what it cost you to keep showing up. They just assumed, because you didn't fall apart in front of them, that you were fine. And God let them think that, not to punish you, but to build you without distraction. Because here's something sacred no one talks about. It's hard to stay honest with your own journey when too many eyes are on you too soon. God knew that. So instead of rushing your rise, He slowed your exposure. He let you grow while they ignored you. He let you develop while they bet on someone else. He let them laugh quietly because they had no idea what was forming. Sometimes God disguises strength as stillness and growth as invisibility. You looked like you were staying still, but inside, the architecture of your calling was being carved. And now, here you are. Not bitter, not broken, just heavier. Heavier in wisdom, heavier in clarity, heavier in presence. This is why you were underestimated. Not because you were lacking, but because you were covered. Covered while your capacity expanded. Covered while your discernment sharpened. Covered while your heart healed. God was writing a different kind of story with you, one that couldn't be rushed. And now that the covering is being lifted, it's jarring to those who thought they had you figured out. Because people love to define others based on early drafts. They met chapter 2 and assumed that was the whole story. But God knew how many pages were left. He knew the part was coming, where the one they called ordinary would carry something unmistakable. This isn't about payback. This isn't about walking in like you have something to prove. This is about walking in with nothing to hide. You don't need to explain where you've been. You don't need to correct the old narratives. You're not here to replay what was missed. You're here to live what's next. And what's next doesn't require their permission, only your agreement. Remember this: the roots you grew in private are strong enough to hold what's coming, and they run deeper than anyone guessed. You weren't built for popularity. You were built for permanence. And when people start to notice, when they whisper about the shift, when they suddenly remember your name, you won't need to react, because by then you'll already be living in the part of the story they couldn't imagine for you. Not because you finally became enough, but because the timeline caught up with what God saw in you all along. There's a strange moment that happens when people start seeing what they couldn't see before. They shift their tone. They ask questions they never cared to ask. They suddenly remember how special you are. But you don't feel flattered. You feel quiet. Calm in a way that almost surprises even you. Not because you're holding a grudge, but because the version of you they ignored still lives somewhere in your memory. You remember how they spoke when they thought you had nothing to offer, how they laughed without even realizing it was at your expense, how they watched you carry things alone and never thought to ask why. You're not bitter, but you remember, and so does God. He didn't step in to defend you. He didn't silence their assumptions or correct their shallow labels, because He wasn't just watching them. He was watching you, not to test your strength, but to show you how strong you already were, without needing the room to validate it. We're taught to expect fireworks when God moves, but more often than not, it begins as a quiet rearranging. No lightning bolt, no voice from the clouds, just a shift. One connection fades, a role dissolves, a space you once begged to be a part of suddenly feels too small to stretch your wings. At first it feels like rejection, but it's not. It's realignment. Because God doesn't build your life around comfort. He builds it around your assignment. And real callings often require you to outgrow places that once felt like home. And sometimes God will allow you to be underestimated so thoroughly that even you start to question what you carry. That's when the most sacred transformation happens. You stop living for applause. You stop adjusting your truth to stay digestible. You stop waiting for clarity to come from others and start receiving it straight from Him. And that's what makes this shift so powerful. Not that people are finally seeing you, but that you no longer need them to. You've already crossed the line internally. This isn't about being seen now. This is about being ready now. Ready for the placement, not the performance. Ready for the real stage, the one that doesn't come with lights, but with weight. The kind of weight that comes from refinement, not attention, from endurance, not popularity. Because had they crowned you too early, you might have spent your life performing a role that looked impressive but drained your soul. You might have built something fast, but fragile. So God let you be skipped. He let them pick someone else. He let you walk home from rooms where your name was never called. Because He was building you for something that couldn't be handed to you by people who didn't even know what they were looking at. And now that something is unfolding. You'll walk into rooms that once overlooked you, but you won't walk in asking for anything. You'll walk in carrying something. And they'll feel it before they understand it. Some won't even have words for it. They'll just say, "There's something different about you," and they'll be right. Because it is different now. You're not in waiting mode, you're in arrival mode. But it's not loud, it's not for show. It's the kind of arrival that changes the atmosphere quietly, because it comes from alignment, not ambition. This is what happens when you outlast misunderstanding, when you stop defending the seed and start embodying the tree. You no longer panic when people misread you. You no longer rush to explain what's blooming in you. You just grow because you're supposed to. And the ones who thought you needed saving, they'll see you standing steady and grounded and realize you were never drowning. You were just deepening. They'll see that the quiet chapters weren't empty. They were layered. You were learning how to hold the oil, learning how to walk without leaking, learning how to hear God clearly in rooms that had too many voices. And now you're carrying something they can't name but can feel. That's why the atmosphere changes. Not because you demand attention, but because your presence tells the truth. You're not the underdog. You never were. You were just planted deeper than they could see. And the fruit that's coming now, it's not a reward. It's the natural result of a process you stayed faithful to. Even when no one was cheering you on, even when the soil was dark, even when nothing made sense, even when God was quiet but never absent, you kept going. And now, you're no longer in formation. You're in bloom. And what's ahead? It's not compensation. It's not revenge. It's not even proof. It's peace. It's rhythm. It's return. Not a return to your old self, but a return to the version of you that existed before you questioned it. And that version is walking out now, whole, unshaken, unmistakable. You don't have to announce it. You just have to keep walking. Because this time, when they see you, it won't be filtered through their bias. It'll be framed by God's timing, and you won't have to say a thing. The reveal will speak for itself. Thank you so much for taking this journey with me. If this message resonated, please like, share it with someone who might benefit, and subscribe to stay connected. Continue your awakening journey by choosing one of the videos on your screen that resonates with you the most. See you there. Hello and welcome, my dear friend. Something is being measured in you right now, but not the kind of thing you can prove with effort. This isn't about how much you can hustle or how long you can pretend to be okay. It's deeper than endurance. It's more precise than pain. God is testing the strength of your alignment when there's nothing to hold on to but peace. No flash, no applause, no obvious proof. Just you and what you're becoming. He's not waiting to see how loud your worship is. God isn't looking for the loudest faith in the room right now. He's looking for the kind that stays true when nothing feels familiar. The kind that doesn't flinch when comfort disappears. Because before God gives a chosen one more influence, He checks their internal weather. And lately, yours has been shifting, hasn't it? There was a time you could move through the day clear, convicted, responsive. But now, the air feels thicker. Your thoughts take longer to land. You feel heavier, not in body, but in energy. This is friction before divine release. God is refining how you hold pressure. Not the loud kind that breaks doors open, but the quiet kind that builds fortitude when no one else sees the weight you're managing. Some days it feels like you're trying to carry water in your hands. No matter how careful you are, something slips through. That's how spiritual testing works. This part of your journey is meant to strip away every old method you once used to feel safe. Because where you're going, survival strategies won't work. Only stewardship will. And so God slows you down, not to stop you, but to make sure you're still carrying what matters, not just what's familiar. You might have noticed sudden emotional agitation, long-buried thoughts resurfacing without warning, temptations dressed in the clothes of past patterns. That's not regression, that's divine exposure. Not to shame you, but to make sure what's buried doesn't erupt later under pressure. God doesn't mind your emotions, but He will confront the ones that still try to steer your life in moments of weakness. And that's the test. Can you stay steady when your old story tries to convince you it still belongs? Some of you have been seeing the signs, the delay, the slowness, the quiet turning in the spirit. What used to come easily now resists your touch. What once confirmed your path now offers nothing but stillness. That doesn't mean it's broken. It means you're being prepared to handle more without needing validation to keep going. God is shifting your relationship with obedience. He's teaching you how to respond with trust instead of urgency. How to walk when clarity isn't announcing your next step. Because what's coming will require you to move before the world understands why. Let me tell you something no one likes to admit. You can be deeply called and still get tired of being refined. You can love God and still feel resentful about the process. But don't confuse fatigue with failure. You're not collapsing. You're outgrowing how you used to cope. This next chapter cannot be led by the version of you that second-guesses every instinct. It won't tolerate indecision. It won't survive under self-sabotage. It's too holy to be handled with reactions that belong to a version of you that God already buried. You were never meant to sprint your way into what's sacred. You were meant to carry it like a vessel. And that means your character must be shaped to match what's coming. This is why He allowed the pause. This is why He's letting some doors stay closed a little longer. Not because you failed, but because the person you're becoming is too precise to be rushed. This part of the path feels narrow for a reason. It has to press the unnecessary out of you. And if you're honest, you've started to feel it. The difference between moving with vision and moving with noise. The inner shift that whispers, there's no room for distraction here. What's coming won't make sense to the masses, and it doesn't have to. Because the next season of your life is not about being seen. It's about being sealed. And this test, it's not just about surviving discomfort. It's about proving to heaven that what's forming inside of you is finally strong enough to carry the blessing that's been circling your name. That's why it feels different this time, because it is. So let's be honest now. What if this is the last time you ever had to walk through something this unclear, and God just needs to know how you handle the fog? Not how loud you can pray, not how many steps you take when you're told to move, but how you hold your stillness when the world stops giving feedback. This is a proving ground. The tension you're feeling isn't just emotional, it's spiritual traffic. Heaven is organizing what belongs to you. And before it arrives, God is asking you to get real with yourself. Can you forgive someone who never apologized without losing your softness? Can you let go of the timeline you clung to without letting go of the promise? Can you carry sacred weight without constantly needing to drop it for someone else to validate it? Because what's coming isn't about your image. It's about your integrity. Let me put it plainly. You've been trying to walk like it's still the season of approval. But God has already moved you into the season of authority. That's why the things that used to encourage you feel empty. That's why old comforts now feel tight, suffocating, irrelevant. You've outgrown needing proof to walk in your knowing. And the test right now is not survival. It's sensitivity. The Spirit is sharpening your discernment because there's no room for loose agreements in the territory ahead. You can't afford to nod to every emotion that shows up. You can't treat doubt like a guest and still wonder why peace keeps leaving the room. You are being taught how to manage what hasn't even fully arrived yet. And that's a holy responsibility. This is why your senses are heightened, why your body has felt out of sync, why time feels slower, but everything feels more important. You're not broken, you're being trained in stillness. Because your next move has nothing to do with momentum and everything to do with alignment. Let's talk about the version of you that keeps trying to fix things God already buried. The one that wants to explain, to rush, to reach. That version doesn't need more healing, it needs closure. You have to let the old rhythm break. You have to stop confusing absence with rejection. God didn't ghost you, He grew you. And that growth pulled you past the sound of familiar things. That's why the room feels quieter. You were never meant to bring that old noise into this new atmosphere. This test, this one right now, isn't about whether you'll pass. You've already passed the point of proof. This is about possession. Can you hold what heaven is handing you? Can you protect it without over-explaining it? Can you walk with it, even if people start questioning you? Can you carry it, even when you feel undeserving? Because God isn't just placing gifts in your hands, He's placing assignments. And assignments don't care how loud your doubt is, they respond to your consistency, your clarity, and your obedience. And here's the wildest part. Most of what you've been asking for has already been released in the Spirit. But you've been delayed on purpose, because heaven refuses to let you fumble what you were born to carry. It's not punishment, it's mercy. You are becoming someone who can hold the weight of destiny without misplacing your peace. And once that version of you is steady, God will accelerate what was delayed. So here's where this all lands. This is the test that comes before doors you didn't knock on open by themselves. This is the moment where silence becomes strategy. This is the season where spiritual weight becomes your passport, not your prison. Let the distractions fall. Let the noise die down. Let the silence speak. Because it's not just that something is coming. It's that something is about to arrive. And God wanted you ready without needing applause to receive it. Let them wonder. You know what's real. Heaven is closer than it looks. Thank you so much for taking this journey with me. If you found value in this message, please like the video and share it with others who might benefit. Don't forget to subscribe and continue your amazing journey by watching one of the videos showing on your screen that resonates with you the most. See you there.